So you might not know this about me, but I actually got my start doing anti-SJW content. For all the zoomy-zooms who hear the term anti-SJW and think I'm speaking Russian or some shit, SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior, which was a cultural phenomena originating on Tumblr and American universities in the year who the fuck knows. But it really started coming to a head in 2014 along with the emergence of Gamergate. A consumer revolt smeared by the media and, you know what? If I explain the whole fucking thing, then we're gonna be here literally forever. So just to simplify, SJW back in 2014 basically meant the same thing as woke in current year. Got it? Okay. Basically, I would say it was part of the now disgraced anti-SJW or skeptic community here on YouTube. I watched all the feminist-owned compilations. Thunderfoot bitching about the 2016 Ghostbusters movie was my lullaby. Mundane Matt telling it like it is was my most trusted informant.
Hey kids, it's me, Polly the Polar Bear, and I'm here to tell you a random word of the day. My word today is
The amazing atheist, red-pilled beyond race.
We're probably afraid of black people because they're statistically more likely to commit crimes like theft. This is despite the fact that blacks make up only 12% of the population.
And taught me the true purpose of a banana.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare.
Armored Skeptic. He was a person who existed, I think. Shoe on Head. Oh, Shoe on Head. My muse. Countless nuts were busted over your videos. A notion of, oil was... And Sargon of Akkad, whose words suggest Philip still make the coolest quote known to man. I wouldn't even rape you. It sends a chill down my spine just saying it. But then there was also me, Just a Robot. The scourge of social justice warriors worldwide. Jim Mediker's strongest soldier. If you can't tell that this is all in jest, go ahead and make another video or stream pretending I'm a rapist or whatever. I'm kind of flattered by how much those things are piling up, like holy shit. Anyways, whatever happened to that period in history and my life? Well, it got old, and politics became even more divisive. Thunderfoot got mad some people were making jokes about a feminist content creator named Russian Deadpool who murdered his girlfriend.
Well, a feminist got triggered.
Yeah? For the final time. For the last time.
Not too soon, crowd. As I said before, like, too soon is literally 5 seconds before it happens.
This made him exit the community.
Sorry guys, but if your response to an unbalanced guy picking up a gun and blowing away an innocent girl is joking about it before the body's even cool, fuck that. I want nothing to do with any of you.
And now he just makes videos bitching about Elon Musk. Mundane Matt had his Boulder stream where he got exposed as a flagger and just kind of fell off the radar.
Now wait a minute!
Oh my fucking god!
Nothing
on that. That's just
what the fuck?
So I have been in not the best place mentally. And
now wait a minute, Matt! No!
TJ basically went back on almost every position he's ever held, in an attempt to be Vouch's strongest soldier, along with a lot of the other skeptics who sucked up to Vouch, in order to be let into his little dirtbag left circle of losers, including Shoe on Head. That's not where her story ends, and apparently she's leaning right again, after having a kid or something. But I honestly don't care. This has been said a million times, but she really is just the perfect archetype of a woman, who just takes on the politics of whoever she's fucking at the time. Oh, and Sargon of Akkad.
You are acting like a bunch of niggas, just so you know. You act like white niggas, exactly how you describe black people act.
I don't even fucking know, dude. He has like a podcast or something now. I don't really care. Nobody really cares. I feel like there's someone I'm forgetting. Nah, it's probably nothing. What about me, though? I joined the art commentary community and started talking about drama, but then the child rape reaper showed up and killed everyone with pedo scandals, until I was one of the only ones left. And in reflection, I have to realize that none of these people were ever really my friends, and they were assholes mostly, because despite my willingness to accept our political differences and actually move further left to accommodate them, they did not feel the same way. No matter what I did or how much I changed, those anti-SJW's videos are still there, sitting on my other channel, and even if I deleted them, the blood on my hands that I got from beating women in the form of making fun of feminism will never go away. Basically, it was a fool's errand to try and make friends with leftists with a more moderate past. The conclusion that I've reached from all of my thinking on this is that I need to return to form. I need to make anti-SJW videos again, but not anti-SJW videos because that's not really a term anymore. I need to laugh at the dumbest idiots of the current political landscape, despite realistically still barely knowing a single thing about politics. What I'm trying to say is that I need to take a fat dump all over Idubbbz and his wife. Look out, internet! Because I'm no longer just a robot. From now on, you will refer to me as Just A Chudbot! So excuse the long introduction, but it serves more than just to build myself up, as coming out as Donald Trump's top guy. The anti-SJW trend I talked about earlier wasn't just contained within the anti-SJW community. I mean, that was their thing. It was all they would ever fucking talk about. But if you haven't noticed, entertainers tend to take on the popular political ideals of the current year as well. People like Filthy Frank, H3H3, and Idubbbz all dabble a little bit in bullying feminists. They just did it less, and were less extreme and more apologetic about it while doing it. Except for Idubbbz. I would say that Idubbbz probably skewed the furthest in terms of being pro-free speech, anti-feminism, anti-PC culture, etc. The dude literally argued that anyone should be able to say the N-word. That's a big reason as to why he's now the internet's favorite punching bag, because much like TJ Kirk, I am unsure if there is any position he held back then that he still holds to this day, and little Johnny is not at all happy that his favorite E-Daddy turned out not to be as cool as he thought he was. Now, edgy people changing to be more palatable once they see a lot of success is a tale as old as time. Just look at where all the old edgy Newground animators are now compared to back then. I mean, Oni NG/Chris O'Neill is now the narrator for the Homestuck pilot, for Christ's sakes. That's not to say that he's not still an edgy boy, just that he's pulled it back a lot since the years have gone on. The difference between all of those edgy boys and Idubbbz is that they still retained a lot of the core aspects of their personality, and comedic styles that made them so likable and funny in the first place. Is anything in Smiling Friends as offensive as one of Psychic Pedal's old animations? Or things he said on Sleepycast?
There's an IHOP in Abington, Pennsylvania. They have a left aisle, a middle aisle, and a left or right aisle. We've gone there. The left aisle has been completely filled with blacks.
Black people.
And black people. What? It wasn't being offensive.
Blacks.
Black.
Hell the fuck no, but it's still recognizable as something he made. He didn't become a completely different person, and he's not constantly shitting on people who engage in the type of humor he used to. Then you have people like Sacha Baron Cohen, creator of Ali G, Borat, Bruno, and The Dictator, which are still some of the most offensive comedy movies ever made. Here's a clip of him giving a speech before the ADL about how we need to censor the internet because of Nazism or something.
Just think what Goebbels could have done with Facebook.
The difference between these creators is clear to see. One is a funny guy who scaled back on a few things because they aren't socially acceptable anymore, and the other is a ladder-kicking asshole who is British, by the way. Did you know that Sacha Baron Cohen is British? Absolutely disgusting. If you're British, then unsubscribe. The point I am trying to make is that not only is Idubbbz like a skinwalker of his former self, but he's also the human embodiment of ladder kicking.
I'm gay. Is it controversial to say I'm kind of now a fan of your I'm gay clip where you're in green suit? Of course. I think there was a ton of gay people, a ton of LGBTQ associated people who thought that was and I genuinely do agree with this, that it was a positive, nice thing to do and entertaining. That's the good side of Idubbbz, I would say. Max said, jump down and say something gay. This is some very, straight man kind of peer pressure. I could have jumped down and said something extremely offensive, but I just said, I'm gay. That was the most, politically correct thing I think I could have said. Because I was so edgy at the time, and I did say offensive things, it kind of hijacked the narrative for a lot of people who wanted it to be offensive or edgy. Because you could kind of interpret what you wanted out of it. Like, oh, he's doing that in a mocking kind of way.
As you can see, he's so obsessed with his past that he's not just disavowing the things he can't get away with anymore, but he's even attempting to historically revise the things he thinks he can get away with. There's not a single person in the entire world who believes you making gay jokes with your YouTube buddies is you trying to be progressive. Literally, everybody does it, so we all see what you're doing. This is like the opposite of sucking a friend's cock as a joke, but somehow gayer. All of this backtracking Idubbbz has been doing has resulted in him calling himself the White Hassan, and going on political rants on stream where he just embarrasses himself for hours on end because he knows nothing about the ideology he's supposed to be a convert to. Now, I'm not going to be going over those streams because, to be honest, they're boring, and I don't think they make for good content. Ian is extremely low energy while streaming, which is why he can only get about 150 live viewers despite having millions of subs. What is in low energy, though, is his new video, Is Trump Trolling Secretly Based? But despite him putting some level of effort into it, it's still quite possibly the worst video I have ever seen. This is the part where I revert to my anti-SJW self and transform into Just A Chudbot, because I'm going to be responding to said video by playing a little bit of it, then popping up in my PNG YouTuber form with my arms crossed to epically deboonk his claims. Move the fuck over, Omegon, because I'm here to make this outdated video form real again. Like I said, I know fuck all about politics. I'm a fucking retard, but I want you all to use this as an example that an absolute dunce can felt Idubbbz. Let's begin.
This is not a dog shocking section. Do not make any claims that this is a dog shocking section.
Haha, Ian, that is very funny. You're a funny guy, Ian. Pay no attention to the man behind the stream who defended Hassan Piker shocking his dog to the bitter end, and justified animal abuse by saying, it's his life.
Sometimes it's a defense, because it's Hassan's life. Hassan can fucking...
What do you mean?
Even if he was using a shock collar, literally, there's so many...
It's his life. He can abuse his animals?
He can do whatever he wants,
so we can do whatever we want then, right? It's
our life. Are we not allowed to make fun of you and your wife for having an OnlyFans?
Pay no attention to the fact that his wife was the first person to run to Hassan's defense without missing a beat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Are We Having a Little Fun, or Are We Killing Civilians?
So apparently Donald Trump is killing civilians. Not likely, but let's see where he goes with this. You'd think with such a serious claim that he would just start the video with that, but no. He follows it up with Le Eben meme.
A lot has happened since the last video I made about political trolling. In fact, in that video, Ted Cruz says that Trump is most likely trolling when it comes to making Canada a 51st state.
I think the president is basically trolling Canada. It was an epic troll.
I was wondering if you'd indulge me in a quick round of Trump trolling or Trump truthing.
Basically, Ian goes on for a while about... What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing, dude? Is this, intentional or another editing mistake? Jesus fucking Christmas, man. Anyway, Ian basically goes on about how politicians shouldn't make jokes about things because morons like him could interpret them as serious. He can't just hear Trump talking about making Canada the 51st state, then realize if he actually did that, then Republicans would never win another election. So he's most likely joking. Also, Canada would be more than just one state. Every single province would be made into its own state. If this was a constant thing where politicians were hiding their actual intentions behind humor, then I get the complaint. But the way I see it, there's room for both jokes and serious discussion in the realm of political discourse. And humor has always been a valid way to engage people. Both sides do this, but the reason why Idubbbz is actually mad is because the left can't meme. Listen, all I'm saying is that if you brought up all the times Obama was on SNL and doing goofy shit to Ian, then he'd probably think that's totally awesome, but not Donald J. Trump. Nah man, all of his jokes are just a vehicle for white supremacy.
I'm a little bit torn with this first thing I want to talk about, and that is changing the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War. I want to give the Trump administration a bunch of flack for being fiscally irresponsible.
A name change. You running out of things to complain about there, buddy? Like, the government wastes money on a lot of shit, and has been since the start of time. But this is the struggle you choose? This is the thing you choose to single out for being a waste of money. Okay. Just out of curiosity, if the next president is a Democrat, and he wants to change it back because something Trump bad, would you support that? I think you would, because something tells me you don't actually care about your tax dollars being used on stupid shit.
But I can't help but think that this is the perfect representation of the trans plight. I honestly don't think anyone says it better than Trump.
The Secretary Hicks has beautifully described the name change reflects far more than the shift in branding. It's really a historic reassertion of our purpose and our identity and our pride. That's when we go with the word war.
But beyond that, they now have to come up with the reasoning as to why they did a name change. The reasoning is, I'm going to be honest, it is pathetic.
So we won the First World War, we won the Second World War.
This country won every major war after that, to include World War I and World War II. We haven't won a major war since.
We won World War I, we won World War II, we won the World War I, World War II.
We won World War I and World War II.
We won the First World War, we won the Second World War, and then we decided to change the name.
Yeah, we totally won those wars because of our name.
He didn't say that. In none of the clips that you just played did he say that. And I like that you're responding to short clips from the news, instead of the official statements on whitehouse.gov, which explains it in a lot more detail. Whether you, the viewer, agree or not is totally up to you, but try to base your opinions on the actual arguments in full, instead of short summaries of them in the media. I'm cutting the remainder of this section out because it's a non sequitur.
Now let's talk about the drug boats. They are saying that there are drug boats off the coast of Venezuela and Mexico, and they are sort of, I don't know, by my estimation, indiscriminately bombing boats.
I highly doubt they're bombing random sailors, but let's just see where he goes with this.
Can you tell us about this Venezuelan boat that was taken out, and do you plan to provide proof that these were narco-terrorists who were on their way to the U.S.?
Well, we have proof. All you have to do is look at the cargo that was, like, it's spattered all over the ocean. Big bags of cocaine and fentanyl all over the place.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that the proof is a 480p video of what could be a bag of cocaine or could be someone's exploded head.
You know, I actually agree with Idubbbz here. We need higher quality footage of these bombings. I want to see some drug traffickers get blown to kingdom come, goddammit.
It was, plus we have recorded evidence that they were leaving. We've recorded them. We're just very careful because we know you people would be after us. We're very careful.
Even that phrasing, we know you people would be after us. Yeah, it's the fucking media. You're not allowed to indiscriminately bomb boats and say, we had a good feeling. We had a really good feeling that there were drugs on it.
You know he can't tell the media everything, right? Do you want him to reveal how he's identifying these drug traffickers? This might be a foreign concept to you, Ian, but people from outside of America still have access to American news. They watch it all the time for entertainment because Americans are admittedly pretty crazy and extremely entertaining. So if the president goes on TV and reveals his entire hand as to how he's catching criminals, the criminals are going to start taking notes and stop doing the things that are getting them caught as far as they can help it. You don't have to fight fair when dealing with people who are trying to ruin your country and harm your citizens, but you know, being a leftist and all, Ian has an outgroup preference, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Next, Ian goes on about a joke Trump made about accidentally bombing fishermen, and calls him a fascist. and it's all just really dumb, so I'm skipping it. If you think I'm somehow cutting out his best argument or whatever, then feel free to watch the original video yourself, but I'm warning you, it's a tough watch.
In the past, bringing drugs across the border means you're going to be tried, you're going to be potentially found guilty and imprisoned, or deported, or whatever.
So you don't know how it works and you didn't bother to look it up. Do you think if a former criminal gets arrested, then they're imprisoned here where they're subsisting off of American tax dollars? Yes, they get fucking deported, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they get let go immediately just to do the same shit again, because people are afraid of getting called racist. But that's a topic for another time.
In this case, they don't want to deal with any of that icky human rights bullshit. They want to emphasize they're not human. You know, if they're bringing drugs across the border, don't think of it as drugs. Think of it as poison, and then you won't ask as many questions when we turn them to dust.
What if we determine that they are humans, but they're better off as dust? There is absolutely no reason to allow these people to fuck with us. Go ahead and make whatever legalistic arguments you want, but it's just gonna end in someone pulling out the "but slavery was legal" card, much like I'm doing right now. Slavery was legal, guys. Next, Idubbbz plays more clips from the news that he probably found on Reddit, where politicians are calling drugs poison. Then he says one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a person say.
Dude, we gotta kill people who are moving these drugs. Parentheses, homicide poison. We gotta stop the serial killer poison. We have to nuke these boats off the coast because they're delivering genocide poison into our country. You guys don't want genocide poison in our country, aka drugs. Never mind that our hospitals are distributing and getting people addicted to genocide poison.
Idubbbz. Are you comparing licensed medical professionals to foreign drug traffickers? So do you think that anybody should be able to distribute whatever drug they want? If so, then you're not a leftist, you're an ANCAP. And I don't think you want to be an ANCAP, so that was a really fucking dumb thing to say. Obviously, his point was about the opium epidemic, but just said in a really stupid way. And yeah, everyone knows it's a problem and doctors really need to stop giving out opiates to patients who really don't need them. But do you know what a more recent part of this epidemic is? Illegally obtained fentanyl. A thing that, without a doubt, was on some of those boats. Now let's cap this section off with just one more rant because since Ian is done with it, I need to be done with it too. Since September, the Treba administration has sent out 21 strikes which resulted in 83 deaths. Some sources say 82 because there was said to be a survivor in the October 27th strike. He was never found in the wreckage and he's presumed dead. But in an October 18th strike, 2 men did survive, both of which were picked up and returned to their countries. One to Colombia and the other to Ecuador. The Colombian man is currently on a ventilator and recovering from injuries, so obviously he hasn't been arrested yet. If you're wondering as to why I'm bringing this up, it's because the Interior Minister of Colombia said that the boat he was on was carrying a ton of cocaine. So yes, these boats too have drugs on them. Even if the Ecuadorian man was let go with everybody saying that he was a good boy who didn't do nothing, despite the fact that he was on the same boat that was confirmed to have cocaine. Idubbbz hops around and mocks politicians for calling these drugs poison, but I actually think they're downplaying it by referring to it as poison. Poison, as we think about it in general terms, either kills you quick or makes you sick for a while. Now let me ask you this, would you prefer a family member either dies quick, or develop a crippling substance abuse problem, fundamentally changing who they are as a person, always asking you for money, lashing out at you, maybe even getting violent sometimes, as they slowly become a zombie who is either more or less willing to do anything for their next fix? Now obviously, this is the worst case scenario. But I say that the worst case scenario happens all too often, since everyone either knows someone like this, or has a friend with someone in their life like this. You are defending the narco-terrorists who make this possible, because you don't like Donald Trump. And that's really just pathetic. By the way, the reason why he's allowed to just bomb them is because they're terrorists. And pretty much every argument against him doing it is just Trump bad, murder wrong. Now on to the next thing.
Gavin Newsom was trolling me. He painted me as a little yellow minion with big glasses and overalls. He painted me like a minion. He painted me yellow with big glasses and overalls.
I will say a lot of the Democratic trolling falls a little flat because it seems like a lot of them don't believe in it.
That's a really funny way of saying the left can't meme. I'm not doing any sleight of hand here or twisting his words. That's literally what he just said, and he's going to cope about it, and he's going to make up all kinds of reasons here without considering the simple explanation, which is that you people just aren't funny.
And I can't blame them. Like, how are you going to force them to be like, yeah, act like an idiot. Act like a fucking monkey scooping its shit out of its ass and eating it. Can you do that?
Democrats. Jesus fucking Christ, Ian. How many news clips are you going to fucking play? Is this why your entire mind has rotted away? Anissa just makes you sit down and watch mainstream news all day instead of gaming or doing something you actually enjoy. You would actually learn more from gaming all day than you would from watching fucking MSNBC or CNN.
Politicians are some of the least humorous people on the planet. They've always been so easy. When I was a Republican, it was always too easy. You're like, seriously, bring me somebody that's like tough to fight. No humor.
Shut the fuck up, Morning Joe.
I don't understand. You more or less just agreed with the guy. What happened? I'm so sick of this modern day commentary tactic of agreeing with your opponent but wording it like it's a disagreement.
To suggest that debating public policy and debating issues is at all comparable to making jokes at other people's expense. We're not doing jokes.
But you are doing jokes. Remember the ice cream cone? Dark Brandon? What about Skibbity Biden?
Skibbity Biden, skibbity Biden, skibbity Biden, Joe, skibbity Biden. Hitler's language, Trump is using Hitler's language. Trump is using Hitler's language. Skibbity.
I'm sure there was plenty of shit related to Kamala Harris, but I've already forgotten all about her, as I'm sure everyone else has as well.
Yes, it's very easy to win at a game that no one else is playing.
Ian, you're pretending that the left doesn't play this game because they're bad at it.
These Democrats were so easy when I was a Republican. I would call them gay. I'd say, you got something on your shirt, buddy. So easy. They were yapping about some shit about Social Security benefits going away. It's whatever. They were losing on the you got something on your shirt front. Democrats, they're so soft.
I only played all of that because if I had to suffer through Ian's pathetic attempts at humor, then so do you. I also wanted to put his hypocrisy on display because this entire video he's doing exactly what he's bitching about, mixing serious political discussion with jokes. Next, he starts bitching about Ben Shapiro, but I'm gonna skip forward a little bit in order to cut some of the fat.
We live in both the dumbest and the funniest timeline. I gotta say, this is all of our life now. This is the business we have chosen.
He said that he's praying for Trump to die, which is a hell of a day.
The big cheeseburger in the sky to come and rid us of this problem.
Literally praying for the death of the president. So that's solid stuff there on the Dean Obadiah show. But if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MAGA. Now, again, President Trump, he's the best at this. When it comes to the trolling, he put out a tweet yesterday showing himself on Mount Rushmore. And I know he thinks he's trolling, but he just looks like a doofus. I mean, truly a doofus.
Ben doesn't like the Gavin Newsom tweets. Yes, Ben, it's partisan. You're only going to think it's funny if you dislike Trump, but you like Trump. So it will not be funny.
But you're different because instead of being like the squeaky midget, you just don't find anything funny at all. You're humorless, joyless. You want to die, but at least you think you're being consistent.
It won't even approach funny to you. Now you know how we feel about the new norm.
What the fuck did you just say? Listen, I know I said earlier that Idubbbz comparing drug traffickers to doctors was the dumbest thing he said all video, But I take it back. This is the dumbest thing he's said this entire video. The new norm is a fucking masterpiece. The best thing ever created by AI. Better than anything ever made by humans or even God. We need some new norm cells in the Just a Robot fan base. And if you agree, comment, we want normal beer.
I think the most important idea I want to convey in this video is that a lot of commentators and politicians on the right, they are communicating in memes, they're making jokes about a lot of serious, deathly important topics that are life and death for a lot of people, but it's not life and death for them.
Nobody could benefit from a nice fast more than the SNAP recipients.
President Trump said, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Okay, this is total trolling, obviously. He's not going to declare war on Chicago.
President of the United States over the weekend released a video of him pooping on the American people.
He is using satire to make a point.
So they can be jovial and act like it's not a big deal. And then when suddenly they see rhetoric that's violent on the left, or from people who are having their friends and family deported, stolen from their work, and sent to Alligator Alcatraz, you're going to have people getting serious.
I know that was a long clip, but I wanted to play it in its entirety just to prove that I'm not doing any kind of sleight of hand. Idubbbz actually made the argument that a reasonable response to jokes on Twitter is calls to violence because we are removing people who are here illegally.
Look, America is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest it. But what they're doing right now is different. They are trying to incite violence. It's not funny. You don't mock a president who has already had 2 failed assassination attempts on his life. This is not a game.
Oh, no, you can't say that it's not a game now. When your fucking guy, he is the inventor of the game. So no, you can't come out here and say, guys, this is serious. The poor little president has earshot, guys. This is serious business, not a game. It's like, okay, well, if it's not a game, you better talk to your guy. You better have a conversation with your guy, because he definitely thinks it's a game.
What am I even supposed to say to this? This motherfucker is absolutely deranged. It's like if a serial killer explained to you that he thought it was totally okay to kill women, cut off their hands and pretend it's his girlfriend. He's outright stating that he thinks a reasonable response to jokes, mostly about actual criminals, is to go, how about I fucking kill you? How about that?
Now this brings me to the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk!
There were a lot of mainstream media people and politicians who were like bewildered of the profile of this guy. Like, what the hell? He's white? He comes from Utah? He's in a loving family?
He comes from a normal household, raised Mormon, parents are Republican. His father's in construction, and they live in a 6-bedroom home in Utah. A family member said he wasn't political until recently, when something snapped.
Oh, I get it now. He was indoctrinated by woke and furry woke trans.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. He was a normal dude from a Mormon family, then got into furry shit, started dating a trans person, changed his political views, and carried out a political assassination because of it. Saying it in a funny voice doesn't make it incorrect. And you're literally about to play a bunch of clips that make you look like an absolute dumbass because they literally prove my point.
Makes sense.
Etched apparently on the bullets were all gamer and or trans oriented slogans. Notice his bulge, OWO, for example.
We know he wrote slogans that come from the trans community. He wrote about the bulge.
There's something called Furry Shades of Gay. You know that Discord app that they were chatting on, all those messages we found later? Is it a component of this? And what is it, by the way, Furry Shades of Gay?
Yeah, I don't know why he played a bunch of clips that hard counter the point he was trying to make. in his own video. Trust me, I did not edit those things in myself.
The fact that the media and politicians are bewildered at the profile of Tyler Robinson just goes to show how out of touch everyone is.
Not everyone is miserable and humorless as you are, Ian. People who carry out shootings usually aren't like this, so it's pretty funny to everyone else that this guy was a degenerate furry porn addict who got radicalized on Discord, most likely by the same people he goons with. I fail to see how it's out of touch to view degenerate furry porn addicts as not normal. And the fact that your worldview brings you to wanting it to be normal should make you start questioning things. But we all know you aren't capable of any level of self-reflection whatsoever.
There are creatures like this all over the internet. They're apathetic, they don't give a fuck, they are watching the same level of apathy being displayed from our politicians. The President of the United States is deporting people and then making memes about it. Like, are we really shocked that this guy would write "ooh woo, notice his bulge" on a bullet?
Let me try to understand the logic here. Charlie Kirk bad, so shooter good. I get that part. But also immigration jokes bad, so furry porn good? What? What are you even saying, dude? You don't need to defend this. You shouldn't even have to mention it. This video is so sociopathic and all over the place that it's hard to even respond to. You're on too many pills, Ian. Tell your wife to stop shopping for doctors so she can put you on new prescriptions for a disease you don't even have every fucking week.
This is very much par for the course. I'm surprised we didn't see something crazier. Just so no one is reading between the lines, my opinion on the matter is that political violence happens. Is that an endorsement? It is not. ICE kidnapping and assaulting people.
Those people are here illegally.
Going into people's place of work, holding SNAP benefits over people.
That happened because of a government shutdown resulting from Democrats wanting healthcare and other benefits for people who are here illegally.
And also blowing up boats.
Yes, killing narco-terrorists.
This is all political violence. It's very political and it's very violent. But where's it coming from? It's coming from the top. And they're saying, yep, this is where political violence is A-okay. But if there's any violence going upstairs, anyone along that ladder to the top, if there's any political violence in that regard, oh, that's bad. Where's your humanity?
So, like, this is another weird Ancapistan type argument despite Ian being a leftist, because it sounds a lot like he just doesn't think criminals should ever be punished unless they are right-wing and commit crimes he disagrees with. Ian, do you even know what a government is? Don't go look at the dictionary definition, because at the end of the day, a government is just a monopoly on violence. They are allowed to use physical force in order to deal with criminals. It is not political violence to capture and deport illegals any more than it is to arrest people for robbing a grocery store. Oh wait, you used to live in California, where robbing grocery stores is allowed. What about robbing people at gunpoint? Is that political violence to capture and jail people like that? No? Then it isn't political violence to send people back home, at least not in the way that we mean it. Basically, if you look up a list of historical examples of political violence, capturing and deporting illegal immigrants en masse isn't going to be anywhere on there, and having empathy for people getting deported is uniquely an American thing. We're the only ones this cucked on this specific subject, at least based on conversations I've had with Canadians and Europeans. According to them, even the most liberal individuals over there don't care about deportations. Also, one more thing before I move on. I'm not saying that the government is inherently good, or that all political violence is inherently bad. How you think tyrannical governments, corrupt politicians, and unjust laws should be dealt with is up to you. What I'm saying is that for a society to function, there needs to be some kind of ruling body to make sure everyone plays nice, and doesn't just kill each other for fun.
Meanwhile, everyone experiencing political violence on a systemic level, no. This is operating as it should.
Yeah, it is. Do you think anyone should be allowed to enter our country illegally and stay here for as long as they want? What exactly is a country if it's not allowed to enforce its own borders and choose who is allowed in? It is absolutely insane that people have been gaslit into this mindset. And that's the end of the fucking video. The rest of it is just him shilling his awful Twitch stream. So in conclusion, fuck Idubbbz! You know, I've heard the opinion more than once that all Idubbbz has to do in order to get back into everyone's good graces is to make a content content cop on Anissa, where he serves her divorce papers at the end. And though I agree with the sentiment that he should do this, I don't think it's enough for everyone to forgive him. I do have a solution though, an idea that will make everybody even forget about this shitty video as well. Idubbbz, you gotta make a content cop on George Floyd. Listen, I don't make the rules. It's the only way everyone will love you again. Now some people might be thinking right now, Char, why a content cop? Yeah, George Floyd isn't a content creator. Well, that's where you're wrong, dear viewer. George Floyd once shot an amateur porno, which very much makes him an internet content creator. Just think about it, Ian. Keep this one in the back of your mind for later. With that, this is the end of the video. This was Just A Chudbot, Israel's strongest soldier, and I'm gonna go convert to Judaism, just to piss off the left. See ya! Before we get to the credits, I just want you guys to know that I finally, at long last, uploaded my full review of The Acolyte onto my new channel. There's some other original content on there, like my full reviews of Stranger Things Seasons 1 through 4, and my full review of Velma Season 2. I hope you guys check them out. Anyways, let's get to the credits. My name is Luke. I play the character known as Just A Robot. Earlier in this video, I made a very offensive joke about beating my dick to female content creators. And I just want to say that I fully disavow these actions. That was just a joke. That's something you should never ever do under any circumstance. Women just want to enjoy their hobby the same as you, without being sexually harassed or treated like a piece of meat. We'd also like to say here at the Just A Robot YouTube channel, support all female victims in all cases, even when they've been proven false beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you're one of these women watching, we just want you to know that we think that all women are queens, and that you probably had a very good reason for falsely accusing that man of rape. And for a mere $500, we will be willing to defend you on Twitter for literally forever. The evidence doesn't matter to us. The legal case, we don't care. How stupid you've already made yourself look. That's funny. Women can't be stupid, they're all queens. All for $500. We will be your white knight until the day we die. Because rape isn't a joke, it's a money-making machine.